The story begins with the planet of Krypton on the verge of exploding when Jor-El and Lara put their newborn son on an escape ship bound for Earth. Lara worries about what would happen to their son, but Jor-El insists that this is their only choice. An alien parasite named Starro escapes containment in Jor-El's lab and stows away on the ship. It later falls off shortly partway through its journey when the ship goes into hyperdrive on its way to Earth. The spaceship lands in Kansas, where Jonathan and Martha Kent raised him and named him Clark. Clark later discovers he has powers, which he uses to help people, later nicknamed Superman. He later meets with Batman to form the Justice League and reveals his secret identity to Daily Planet reporter Lois Lane. The two marry and have a son named John, short for Jonathan. Years have passed and the Kents are living on a farm in Smallville after Clark's parents passed away. John is dissatisfied after being forced to write a report on his parents' boring job as reporters for the Daily Planet. Lois tries to convince him that being a reporter is all about writing a good story. Although most stories already know the ending, what's interesting is figuring out how it happened. Before she left for work, she told John not to look for birthday presents. While John goes through his parents' room, Clark suddenly returns home. Clark explains how he discovered a strange phenomenon about ants during work. Typically, they'd follow the queen ant's instructions, but now they appear to be moving of their own accord. He explains how it is better if the queen ant should turn up dead, then so does the colony. They then spent the rest of the day finishing chores around the farm. While having an earnest conversation, John tells him how he misses having his father around and gets frustrated over his father's frequent absences. Unaware that his father is Superman, he starts questioning if his job is more important than him, and wonders if he would even be there for his game or birthday. Clark promises to be there before he quickly leaves after seeing the watchtower fall to Earth. Superman quickly flies to outer space and catches the watchtower before it falls into the atmosphere. He then placed it back into orbit and patched up the hole in the satellite. Green Arrow reports that they were suddenly hit by random space debris when it happened. He invites Superman to enter, but claims he must head to Japan, where a tsunami is about to hit. Green Arrow later hears a noise in the watchtower and decides to check it out when something jumps at him. The next day, John is up to bat, and he is disappointed when his father doesn't show up to his baseball game after promising to be there. John tries to hit the ball despite his father's absence, but keeps missing. Lois tries to comfort him by celebrating his birthday, but he feels rejected and wants to go home. Clark returns home and tries to explain how he is handling a situation, but Lois stops him and claims that he never needed to explain it to her. Although the world needs Superman, she describes how their son also needs his father to be there. Given his age, Lois wonders if it is time to talk with their son about him being Superman. Clark tried to talk with his son, but he refused to listen and decided to run away. Feeling frustrated, he accidentally activates his heat vision on a water tank and sets it on fire as he runs into a cornfield. Seeing what happened, Clark immediately runs to John, who refuses to see him, worried that he might hurt his father. Clark explains how he would not be able to hurt him and reveals himself to be Superman. Back at the house, Lois wonders if John inherited his other powers, but Clark explains that he only knew about the heat vision. She explains how they knew this was a possibility. Still, she thought it skipped a generation when John showed no powers before this. Clark reassures her that he will have John checked out and figure out what's happening. Clark then flies John to Gotham City to see Batman for advice on when or if the rest of John's powers could emerge. When they arrived at Gotham City, John claims the atmosphere differed from Metropolis or any other city. They quickly find Batman fighting against Penguin and his men. John wonders if they should help him, but Clark explains how Batman gets furious when he tries to step into his battles. After catching the Penguin and handing them over to the cops, they return to the Batcave to run some tests. John is excited to see the Batcave when he meets Damian Wayne, aka Robin, Batman's son, who is initially rude to him. Batman then asks him to set up the meta-analyzer so they can run some tests. Superman asks Batman how Damian has been doing now that he is living with him. Batman claims Damian wants to be good, but finds it difficult after what Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins put him through. Although he doesn't have conclusive results, Batman explains that he is unsure what powers could manifest next, if any at all. He did confirm that his first powers were triggered by extreme stress and suspected that another traumatic event could bring his powers out. After hearing that, Damian decides to test that theory. He kicks John off the platform, hoping his near-death experience will bring them out. Superman quickly catches him, while Batman scolds Damian for his recklessness. Later, Robin receives a call from Wonder Girl of the Teen Titans, who tells him that they have taken a vote and decided not to make him a team member. She explains how he is not a team player and doesn't care about anyone but himself. John overhears their conversation and tries to comfort him. Meanwhile, Batman claims that he has lost contact with the Watchtower. Superman explains how the Watchtower got hit by space debris last night. Although he manages to fix it in time, he can't stay around as he needs to handle a tsunami in Japan and tells Green Arrow to check in with Batman. After talking with Green Arrow, Superman and Batman suspect something is amiss and decides to check it out. Superman quickly drops John at home and then heads for the Watchtower together. They quickly tucked him in bed and left him his birthday present by the nightstand. Before Superman left, Lois explains how she has been getting wild tips from her contacts across Central and South America about how the crime rate has suddenly plummeted. Superman thought it was a good thing, but Lois finds it suspicious that there's no more crime and suspects it might be connected. When they finally arrive at the Watchtower, Superman quickly urges him to leave, but a possessed Martian manhunter catches them by surprise and infects them. Returning to the Batcave, a possessed Batman sneaks up on Damian to infect him. Still, he quickly caught onto him and sliced the spore apart. He quickly realizes that Batman is infected, and a fight ensues. Damian struggles to defeat Batman, and he quickly falls to the ground. When Batman picks him up, Damian tries to convince him to fight the compulsion, but he throws him off the platform and into a ravine. Before he leaves, Batman speaks with Superman, who confirms he has eliminated all threats. Damian barely survived the fall and overhears their conversation about how they've managed to infect everyone in the Justice League and the Teen Titans. He later realizes John is the next target, so he quickly flies to Smallville to save him. The next day, John goes to school and shows disinterest in the glasses that his father gave him for his birthday. Melvin, the school bully, shows up and starts dissing John after his poor performance at the game yesterday. He tries to push him around, but when John discovers he has super strength too, he provokes Melvin to attack him, confident that he also has his father's invulnerability. The principal later calls him to talk about how he started the fight. When he saw the Batplane, John excused himself, excited to see Batman, only to find it was Damian. Lois shows up and tells them that she will take him home, but Damian quickly recognizes that she, too, was infected, given her suspicious behavior. They ran outside and boarded the Batplane, but Lois jumped in front of its hood. Damian asks John to kill her with her powers, but he refuses to kill her mother and instead asks him to fly over the pond. He then uses his heat vision on the stereospore, freeing her from its control after she falls over. After their close encounter with the infected, Damian claims they must lay low while examining the alien for any weaknesses. Damian worries that the Star Labs, or the Cord Tech, are compromised, and suggests they head to Superman's Fortress of Solitude. When Damian worries about the lack of security, they are suddenly chased around by Krypto, Superman's pet dog, who shares his powers after being mistaken for intruders. They struggle to defeat him when a holographic embodiment of Jor-El's consciousness stops Krypto. He explains how John comes from a long line of heroes and scientists. Using its Kryptonian technology, Jor-El explains that they are dealing with Starro, a parasitic creature that can produce millions of spores that take control of a planet's populace, effectively controlling the planet until the hive mind can then drain it of life unabated. Remembering his previous conversation with his father, John suggests they take out the central hive mind, and the spores will die, freeing everyone under its control. Damien claims that after they left the Batcave, their fathers went to check a problem with the Watchtower before they got infected and suspects that the Hive must be there. With Jor-El's help, they used the spaceship that Clark used as a baby to escape Krypton to help John and Damien get to the Watchtower in outer space. Damien managed to hack into the computer systems to get inside when a possessed Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, and the Teen Titans caught them. John and Damien come face to face with Starro, who claims they cannot defeat him. Starro explains how they should be grateful to him after humans destroy the planet. After draining all life on Earth, Starro will continue to move to the next world until it devours the entire universe. When asked what he intends to do with them, Starro claims he refuses to infect them as they dare to thwart his plans and orders Green Arrow to kill them. Meanwhile, having been freed from Starro's spore, Lois returns to the Daily Planet, hoping she could slip into the midday program to warn people of the apparent alien invasion. She claims she knows how to stop them and needs to tell everyone about it. Jimmy explains how she would need to talk to the president, who can break into broadcasts during emergencies. Lois quickly speaks to Lex Luthor, the current US president, and asks him to make a public address warning everyone. Luthor agrees to her request under the condition that she write a front-page apology and an endorsement in the next election. While on air, Luthor tells everyone it is time and reveals he is already infected. Lois claims she already knew about it and tells John on air that Starro is vulnerable to heat. With an arrow pointed at Damien, John jumps in to save him and discovers that he has inherited Superman's invulnerability as well. Together, they fight them and knock them out. John tries to attack one of the Starro spores but cannot pry it off, even with his super strength. Realizing they have no choice, Damien and John confront Starro and find their fathers, Batman and Superman, instead. Damien and John struggle to defeat their fathers, so John suggests trading opponents. Damien agrees, but asks John to help him tackle Batman while he goes through his utility belt for a kryptonite ring so he stands a chance against Superman. Although John doesn't stand a chance against Batman, he gets a clean hit on him, which knocks him out. Realizing that Starro has grown stronger and John's heat vision is no longer enough to beat it, they decide to knock the Watchtower out of orbit, hoping that Starro would burn up with it on re-entry. After evacuating everyone on a spacecraft back to Earth, they quickly head to the command center and set the Watchtower on a course for re-entry. Starro shows up and tries to attack them both, but he gets injured as the Watchtower burns up on re-entry, and the Starro spores start to die. Unable to escape, Damien and John admit their respect for each other and accept their fate. Freed from Starro control, Superman intercepts the falling Watchtower and saves Damien and John. When they thought it was over, Starro survives the fall and attacks them but is defeated as John, Damien, Superman, and Batman work together. In the aftermath of their battle, Damien receives a call from Wonder Girl, who explains how they have rescinded their initial decision and invites him to join the Teen Titans. Although thrilled by the invite, he postpones giving them his answer and tells them they will be late for John's baseball game. John was delighted to find that Bruce and Damien not only showed up, but even his father was also there. When he was up to bat, he hit the ball and earned the winning score. Later, John was wondering what was next for Damien, who decided to name themselves Super Sons. Damien then pushes John off the water tank, hoping he'd get another power from a near-death experience. The end. Thanks for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.